Hi, Checotah Intermediate students. This is Reading with Mrs. Brinsfield. It's week 3, lesson 1, and it's titled, Are You Using Context Clues? So are you? If you're looking at the root word of an unknown word and the prefixes and suffixes within that word, you're using context clues. If you're looking at contrasting words like, for example, the sentence said, like this or unlike this, then you're using context clues. If you're reading it and just thinking about it, then you may be using logic to figure out a word or unknown word, and you're using context clues. If you're looking at the definition that the story is giving you or the sentences around you are giving you, or it's giving you a synonym or an antonym of that word, then you're using context clues. If that unknown word comes along with an illustration or an example within that sentence or a sentence around it, then you are using context clues. If you're looking at the grammar of the unknown word, then you're thinking about whether it's a noun, a verb, an adjective, or adverb, then you could be using context clues there as well. So a lot of times when we say read around a word that you don't know, we're wanting you to use context clues. So let's go ahead and look at today's activity. And it's called, Are You Using Context Clues? And I've got a story number 1 that we will do together and a story number 2 that I want you to do on your own. So let's just go ahead and read story number 1. Why do trees have leaves? Actually, blank play an important role. It is here that light, water, and carbon dioxide become food for the trees. This process is called photosynthesis. The interaction of light and chlorophyll changes the carbon dioxide and water into food. If a tree blank had leaves, it couldn't manufacture food and it would die. How does this compare to you? So we've got choices for blank number 1 and choices for the blank number 2. So let's just go ahead and look at the choices. On number 1, we've got A, trunk, B, horses, C, wheel, D, leaves. So think just a second of what you think the answer might be. Have you got an answer in mind? Well, let's go ahead and read these couple of sentences and see if we can try each word in the blank. Why do trees have leaves? Actually, blank play an important role. So, why do trees have leaves? Actually, trunk play an important role. Well, the trunk of a tree does play an important role, but that doesn't make sense the way it's used. Actually, trunk play an important role. That doesn't make sense, and it doesn't have anything really to do with the leaves at this time. I mean, the branches have the leaves. Let's try B, horses. Why do trees have leaves? Actually, horses play an important role. Well, horses do play an important role in our lives, especially Miss Powell's life as she rides her horses, but doesn't have anything to do with trees and leaves, so it wouldn't be B. C, will. Why do trees have leaves? Actually, will play an important role. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. So let's go on to D, leaves. Why do trees have leaves? Actually, leaves play an important role. Well, that makes perfect sense. So the answer would be D, leaves. Is that the one you chose? Well, good job if you did. Let's go on to number 2. And let's start at the beginning of that sentence, which is right here. If a tree blank had leaves, it couldn't manufacture food and it would die. So let's try A, never, B, knew, C, shook, D, clear. Have you got an answer in mind? You do? All right. Let's try each one. If a tree never had leaves, it couldn't manufacture food and it would die. Well, that's a definitely maybe word because that works, doesn't it? And it makes sense. Let's try B. If a tree new had leaves, it couldn't manufacture food and it would die. That does not make sense. Let's go to C. If a tree shook had leaves, it couldn't manufacture food and it would die. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. Let's go on to D. If a tree clear had leaves, it couldn't manufacture food and it would die. So, if you said never, you are right. So the best way to know for sure if your answers are correct is to read the sentences again. And I'm going to read the whole paragraph with the words that we chose. So are you ready? Here we go. Why do trees have leaves? Actually, leaves play an important role. It is here that light, water, and carbon dioxide become food for the trees. This process is called photosynthesis. The interaction of light and chlorophyll changes the carbon dioxide and water into food. If a tree never had leaves, it couldn't manufacture food and it would die. How does this compare to you? So that sounded pretty great, didn't it? All right, I want you to do story number 2 and read it and read the answer choices and read it with each one of those words in the blank and see which one makes sense. And do it for number 3 and 4. And then read your whole paragraph again to make sure it makes sense. And then if you do that and you want to let me know about it, I would love to hear from you. You could email me at cbrinsfield@checotah.k12.ok.us. You could just type in that your name, the date, and the title of our lesson, Are You Using Context Clues? And put number 3 and then the answer that you chose, and number 4 and the answer you chose. And I would just love to hear from you. I'll be talking to you again very soon. Take care. Enjoy this time with your family. And bye for now.